How's it going, guys? It's Poetry Stud, and welcome to Imperator Rome, the next game coming out from Paradox Interactive. That is set in Roman times, in the sort of like classical period, I guess, or slightly after that, maybe? I'm not quite sure, actually, what the year is when the classical period ended and when late antiquity began, or all that. But in any case, Imperial Rome is the next game, the next grand strategy game from Paradox that is focused on the rise of Rome and the fall of the successor states of Alexander's empire, all that sort of good stuff. And I am really excited to dive right in. Paradox was nice enough to send me a copy of the game before its release. It releases on the 25th of April, I believe, for $40. I'm not being sponsored to say this or anything, but and I'll do a review video probably later talking about my thoughts on it. We're just going to be playing it for now. But in any case, I just wanted to let you guys know that I did receive a copy of the game for free, but this is in no way sponsored beyond that. So, in any case, I'm really excited to get going here. I have had the game about a week now from the time I'm recording this, and this is about a week before the embargo lifts. So, I have had a chance to play a good bit. I didn't want to jump in with no experience. That would be really boring. And so I've been playing a good bit on my own. In fact, let me tell you, I have 24 hours in this game already, and I've only had it for about 5 days now. I've been playing a lot of this game because I'm trying to get my, my skills up to par so that when I play for you guys now, it won't be bad. So I did a poll on my Discord, on my YouTube channel, asking when the game comes out, when it comes out, who should we play as? And what I didn't tell people is that I already had the game at that point and was trying to just see what people wanted to see most. I had a lot of options, and we'll go and get started in a second. We'll talk about some of the stuff that I found out about the game as we go. But first off, as we get in here, there's only one start date, so unlike other games, you don't have to choose the start date. They might add more start dates at some point, but right now, I don't think... I mean, honestly, there's a lot to do in this start date. So, let's go ahead and hop in here. So this is the map of the world in our start date, which is 450 Ab Urbe Condita, which is from the founding of Rome, or 304 BC. I don't actually know if there's a way to switch the dating system, but it by default uses this, but if you hover over in the game, it'll show you the BC date. So the BCE, before Common Era date, is 304, right? And so this is right after Alexander the Great's empire, that stretched all the way out to here, fell apart after his death, into a bunch of successor states. And those successor states exist. You got the Seleucids, Phrygia, Egypt, which, was already a thing before Alexander, but this is a Hellenic Egypt, right? Cappadocia, Paphlagonia, Pontus, Armenia, Albania, which those aren't successor states, I don't believe. Those are just other countries. Scythia is up here. They're also not a successor state, but I'm just kind of going through different things now. Thrace, Macedon, right? And then all the Greek city-states. And one thing that is really cool about this game is just how detailed it goes. Like, look at all these frickin' city-states, and you could play as any of these, and that is pretty awesome. At some point, I'm going to do a Sparta run. At some point, I want to do like an Athens run, right? And a Macedon run. There's a lot you could do just in this area with how detailed it is. But today, we're going to be playing as Carthage. Because I did the poll, and that was the one that got the most votes. And I think Carthage is a pretty good one to start with, because they're strong. The game says they are normal difficulty. They're not as easy as Egypt or Rome. They are normal difficulty. They have some difficult things, to deal with, but they are not in a super weak position. So, Carthage has prospered for many centuries before our game begins, holding on to a number of coastal cities around the Mediterranean. Several subjects continue to pay them tribute, and naval dominance rests firmly in our hands. However, we are decentralized, and we have to maintain loyalty of our provinces abroad. So, and you can see the other ones they recommend are Macedon, Seleucids, Phrygia, Egypt, Rome, right? And eventually I'll play as all these, I'm sure, but there's a lot to do in this game. So we're going to go and get started as Carthage. I'll talk about other stuff as I get going, but I want to hop in already. We are starting with an oligarchic republic. Religion is Canaanite. Culture is Carthaginian. We'll get going talking about what this stuff all means later, like all these numbers. I'm not going to worry about talking about that now. We start with 1,000 pops, right? 1,083 pops. That is a lot. So, for instance, Egypt has 1,800, so 800 more, but still, 1,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Rome only has 394. Most little provinces or like all these tribes, right, have somewhere between 20 and 100. Phrygia has 3,000, so they have more than us. The Seleucids have almost 4,000. Maurya out in India has 6,000. But still, for being over here and not actually owning that much land, we have a decent number. The game goes all the way out to India, as you guys can see, which is pretty cool that it goes out that far. I think it makes sense, though, with Alexander almost reaching there. Or he did reach India, you know, he's pushed back from it, really, but still. And it goes up all the way to Scandinavia, to the bottom part of Scandinavia, to include some like the Germanic tribe migration that started happening this time. Britain is included. Ireland starts uninhabited, mostly. Not uninhabited, there are people here, and we'll actually not. Well, before we start talking about this, let's just go and hop in, because a lot of stuff you can only see in the game screen. One thing to keep in mind is that as, yes, we'll say, I don't actually know what this campaign is going to be called yet. I'll think of a name for the series for the YouTube channel later, but we'll just call it Carthage for now. You can see I've been playing as the Contestani, which are like here. Cantillachia is up here somewhere. I don't remember. Arvernia right here. Emporion is, which was the one I played the most of, about maybe 15 to 17 hours, and then Rome, just for the tutorial. So we're going to go and start as Carthage here. Okay. And so we are the Sons of Tyre, an ancient and proud civilization, yada yada yada. This is pretty much what it said already in the other thing. The island of Sicily has remained a constant thorn in our side, and yeah, Syracuse is reigning with Greek presence, and then further north is Rome and stuff, right? So, Carthage shall endure. One thing I actually like about Carthage, so if you don't know in real life, Carthage was basically one of the colonies of the Phoenicians originally, and that is why, if you look at culture, similar to EU4, there's culture groups and then different cultures within those, right? And you can see like the green here is Gallic, and it's a lot of land. There's the Latin groups, or group, the Hellenistic group, you know, Nilotic. There is the Levantine group, and that is what we are, because historically, the Phoenicians over here in like modern-day Syria and Lebanon and Israel, they colonized Carthage, and when the Phoenician Empire fell, a long time before the start of this game, a few hundred years, then a lot of the Phoenician elite actually went into exile in Carthage. Carthage is the continuation of the Phoenicians, basically. So, that's why our culture is Levantine, even though the Levant is over here, right? And that's why Hebrew is in our culture group and stuff. We are a Semitic culture. So, let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff here. There's a lot to talk about on this screen alone, but I'm not going to go into everything. This is not going to be a tutorial series. I think I'm just going to go ahead and start talking about our strategic position. So, right off the bat, we have land in a lot of places. So we own a good chunk of Sardinia. We have the Balearic Isles are a vassal of ours, and we have a bunch of other little vassals here, which I will show like this. All of the lighter blue color stuff is our vassals. So Tripolitania, Emporia, Massilia, Musulamia, and then these little guys along here are all vassals of ours. And we will integrate them eventually. However, it is important to note that Massilia and Musulamia, they are settled tribes, and as a result, we can't integrate them like we could in EU4. If we want to, I believe we have to wait long enough so that they become like monarchies. They cannot be settled tribes. So, that's interesting, right? We might even want to just cancel the vassalage and conquer them at some point. But that will certainly not be something we do right away, as that's going to cost a lot of resources. What I think we want to do is with all these sort of like pepperings of little land spots along the Mediterranean, I think we want to solidify our grasp on North Africa. So the the only two powers that are standing against us in North Africa are Massicilia, who is not too strong, but owns a good bit of land. In fact, how much population do they have total? 200. So if we add that to our country, that's going to be a good chunk more. Of course, none of it is the right culture. None of it is Carthaginian. It's all Numidian culture, or Massicilian culture. And the religion is not the correct one either, but that's okay, because we'll get to that, about how we're going to fix that. Mauritania is the other one. And so I think these two, and there are 68 population, so a decent amount. I think that these two places are going to be our first ones we go after. I did sort of a little test run of Carthage before doing this like an hour ago, just to see what the starting move would be. I was considering a few things, and we will also be thinking about other things. Sicily is definitely going to be sometime soon. We don't want to wait too long on that, I think. We want to get Sicily under control. Getting the rest of Sardinia under our control would be nice as well. And then I think after that we want to start working on southern Spain, on the region of Baetica. So I think if we could solidify like the southern end of the Iberian Peninsula, that would be pretty nice, as well as solidifying our home territories in North Africa. So, with that being said, let's go and get started. If you are, this is not gonna be a full tutorial, but I might do a separate series on that. But what you should know is that basically these powers at the top, these power points, are basically monarch points from EU4, if you played that. They kind of represent a similar thing. And while there's a lot of tabs, you're only going to be using some of these tabs more than others. So for instance, like the nation one is pretty important. It's kind of like an overview. You can see all your different stuff. And what we're going to do to start is we're going to set our government bonuses. And so there are 3 slots for us, and they correspond. You can put any idea, or not idea, but any policy. It is ideas. Any idea in one of the slots. But if you match the type up, if you match all 3 types up, you get an additional bonus, which is this. Monthly wages for characters, which right now, we're paying a few gold a month in wages. So that would help us save there. But more than that, we would get national citizen happiness, which is incredibly important. And we'd also get 2 more of every category of points every month. So while it costs us about 50 to pay for these, it's going to pay for itself very quickly. So we need a civic idea here. Let's go ahead and get one. I did look at these briefly as well. So we are starting with taxes and it being more of a part of our money than commerce. But I can just tell you from experience that commerce is quickly going to outdo that, at least for a good part of the early game. I wouldn't say even gotten past the early game, but still. The commerce is going to be a lot more important than taxes and stuff. The build cost time is good, but I don't think it's that good. We're going to do the national commerce income. And then we have 2 oratory ideas to fill. By the way, you can unlock more of these with tech upgrades and stuff. So, monthly corruption is all right. Monthly general loyalty and admiral loyalty is pretty good as well, and I think that's probably one I'm going to definitely do. The improve opinion maximum, I really have not found too much benefit in improving opinion. Really, the only time I found it necessary, I haven't had vassals in other campaigns, so that might be one thing. It might be necessary, and we'll see. But I definitely think that, in my experience, it's only been really helpful in getting trade routes with people who don't like you. So, we're going to go ahead and do this guy, for sure. And then we're going to go ahead and I think we're going to do the corruption over this. So, and with that, we are now making, instead of 5 a month in these categories, except civic, which we have 1 less, we're going to make, an extra 2. That's going to quickly pay for itself. Our ruler is where our other base statistics come from. It is, the amount you get is base 2, and then plus half of their skill in that category. So 6 military skills, so we're getting 3 from him, as you can see. His title is Safet, or Safete? Safeta? I'm not sure. I'm going to say Safet. But he is our Safet. And you can see him here. Yes, and so we are a republic. We have 5 factions in our Senate, which is the civic faction, the military faction, the mercantile faction, religious faction, and the populist faction. All of these are pretty much going to give you some bonus, except for the populist faction, which has a malice attached to it. However, if you want to become a dictatorship, which is basically, yeah, becoming a monarchy, right? If you want to change government type, you have to have a populist in, populist in charge. We also have some events here, but we're going to look at those later because I don't think those are going to be relevant right away. So we have a lot of other tabs here. There's technology, religion, economy, diplomacy, trade, other stuff. But we're not going to worry about that. We'll explain it as we go. So I think our first step is, again, going to be conquer Massicilia. So we are going to start getting some armies in place. Oh my gosh, my timer already went off. Wow. Apparently I'm taking a bit longer to explain this than I had even thought. Okay, let's go and get all of our navies over here. This army, we definitely want to raise our armies up. We are losing money right now, but I'm just going to let you guys know. I don't think that will last for long. I think we will start making money. One thing to keep in mind, one thing that's interesting about this game that I really like is the fact that there are a lot of different types of units. It's not just infantry, cavalry, artillery like EU4, right? There are scouts, horse archers, heavy archers, chariots, war elephants, camel lancers, skirmishers, hoplite slingers, and they have different names for different cultures. But one thing that's kind of cool is you have to have the resources, the trade goods, if you want to be able to build, like elephants. You need elephants, which we do have. Yeah, like here. So we have elephants. So in that province, we can build them. Luckily, they have a feature that is very nice, which is recruiting to your army. So we don't have to go on and find where the resources are. So what I think we want to do is I think we want to hire some slingers, because they're cheap. And some skirmishers. Something like that would be fine. Yeah, that seems good. Okay, let's go over to our other army as well. I think we're also going to do, again, like 2 more skirmishers and then 4 more slingers. Yeah. We were basically at our max manpower, so we want to get below that. Start making use of that cap. Let's go ahead and get some fish here in our capital. I think that'll work just fine. Okay, we'll do it from Tripolitania. They're our vassal anyways. Okay, so let's go and talk about the technology here. So basically, technology just ticks naturally over time. You have researchers in charge, and then whenever you get to a new level of tech, you get some bonuses, and then you unlock new inventions. You don't have to spend any points or anything on the technology. That just happens naturally. What you do spend points on is the inventions that you get from it that are unlocked at each level. And you start with 3 of each type, and you unlock 3 of each type whenever you level up. So it costs 100 civic power, and this is, I think, pretty much the only thing I found that you spend civic power on besides trade routes. Trade routes and inventions are basically it. So there's no reason not to keep taking these, really. Okay, so we just got our first trade route request, and we're going to be getting a lot of these because being a big country, we have a lot of excess trade goods. And one thing that is cool is that you get bonuses for having excesses of, like, different things, right? So since we have 1 additional base metal, this province gets recruitment speed up. But you also get bonuses if you start exporting something for the first time. Like, exporting iron gives us heavy infantry discipline as well as money, right? And that's pretty cool, actually. There's no downside to trading unless you're trading with an enemy and giving them resources they need. So this is what I was talking about, right? We have a a large number of people who are just going to start asking for everything. And I think pretty much there's no reason not to accept every time. Unless you it's an enemy and you would rather keep the resources for yourself. Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and I'm just getting these armies going first. Okay. Here we go. We'll go ahead and get this this navy over to here. Here, take you here. Yeah, I don't care about you really. You can come over here. And you go over here to this province. Cool. So yeah, I think our plan is going to be conquer these dudes. We do have to wait to get enough oratory power to get a claim. So meanwhile, while I let just time tick, we'll go up to speed 4. Also, this is my first time recording for my YouTube channel in 1080p. I got a new monitor just for this game, actually. So hopefully it looks alright. I'm sorry if it's lagging a little bit. That's just because my computer is in a little bit of a need of an upgrade, but hopefully it's not too bad. So, okay. So I think what we're going to do is our starting invention is going to be this one, which gives us fabricate claim cost down, because long term that will be very helpful. Our second one, I think, is actually going to be national commerce income, or maybe army more. No, I think the commerce income is going to be better. And again, right, currently our trade or our taxes is slightly more, but that will change soon, I bet. So, from experience, it's just we're gonna get more and more trade routes. Okay, so here's the religion screen. The religion screen is kind of interesting. You don't normally go to it too often, in my experience. But this is where you see, for instance, your stability, which kind of like EU4 goes -3 to +3. I think is actually more important than it even is in EU4. Like, at 1 stability, you get 5% more tax, 5% more research, loyalty stuff, you know. And so you can use your religion points to do stuff here, like sacrifice to the gods for stability, or reducing war exhaustion. And the other main thing that you do is call omens down, which last for, I believe, a base of like 10 years for 1825 days. How many days is that? Not 10, that's like 5 years, isn't it? Yeah, 5 years. For that time, they give you some pretty good bonuses, right? Like national manpower plus 10%, research points plus 10%, national tax plus 20, right? Some pretty good stuff. And I think we're going to start with discipline, because we're about to be at war. Okay. So, let's go ahead and get ready here. These are mercenaries, not enemies. Mercenaries kind of just like hang out in your land a lot of the time and just sit in your cities till you hire them. And eventually, we will, once our money gets better, we will definitely be making use of mercenaries. That might be a good chunk of our army at some point. Alright, let's keep in mind we need to, let's make sure that our army maintenance is up, fleet maintenance is up. Just like EU4, you can set maintenance down, set taxes higher and stuff. Let's go ahead and get a naval commander. Yeah, that works. Sure, you. Okay, and as you can see, one thing that I haven't talked about is there are a lot of characters, and in larger countries, we're going to have a lot of characters to deal with, including families, specific families that will have different amounts of influence, right? But I don't think it's as relevant as in like CK2, right? It's not like you need to be paying attention to that as much. But certainly I think it can become relevant. Okay, this guy's pretty good. We'll get him in charge. He's got siege ability. You... Chariot discipline. I mean, that's not that good. So you... Yeah... Morale of armies is pretty good. Loyalty gain chance is bad, because that means it's loyalty to that general, not to us. So that means his troops will become more loyal to him, to the point where if he ever declared independence, or not independence, but if he ever declared a revolt against us, his troops would follow him, right? So, which that's what like Julius Caesar did, right? And the Romans dealt with that, and that was the thing that happened, you know. So, let's go ahead and get another trade route going here. Okay, here's an event. A general. I don't like that. I don't like that. We're gonna pay this dude because of reasons, I guess. He demanded it. I didn't read the event text. Just, you know, that's bad when you're already not doing that. But that's just Paradox Game Player 101. Never read the event text. Okay, so we still need to wait a little longer before we can get to war with these guys. Army maintenance costs, we're trading that away. So yeah, do it. Okay, we're losing a small amount of money every month. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, military power you don't spend on too much outside of, there's some stuff with troops you can do. And other than that, it's mostly just for military traditions that you do, which we'll get to eventually, but for now we're not going to worry about. Okay, someone got arthritis. Okay, there are like diseases and stuff that can afflict characters, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, so a son was born to us, to our ruler. Scorn families just means people who aren't being employed. That's okay. I don't really care about them too much right now. We are making money now, so that's good. These guys, they have not really built too much more troops up. They have a decent number, though, so I'm considering maybe buying like some mercenaries or something. But I don't think we want to build any more troops of our own. This is a fortress being built, which are like forts. So, give me one moment here. Let me see, how long has this video been going on for? 26 minutes? Okay, I'll tell you what, I think this is going to be a good place to wrap up this first episode. I'm sorry, but the next video should be going out within an hour or two of this one. So come back for episode 2 when we are going to go to war with Massilia. It'll probably be a few more months in game and then we'll go to war. It's only been about 2 years. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go to war with them and then start, once we get them and Mauritania kind of consolidated, I think then we'll kind of look outwards across the sea, right? So, thank you guys for watching. Again, this game comes out on the 25th when we're going to be playing it. There will be episodes every day until then. I'll be doing some streams. You know, if you care to watch some streams and have some input on what we do there, feel free to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter and stuff. There will be a link below the video. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe to see the next video because you know, your support really does mean a lot when especially when a new game comes out like this, and we have a lot of new people, and hopefully you all, if you are new to the channel, hopefully you enjoyed. Either way, thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.